Hello, wonderful people. You are welcome to DTL World, and we say your life is your message. This is another session of DTL World Health Talk, and we have in our midst here Dr. Emmanuel Addai, who is a medical doctor at Jabin Hospital. You are welcome, doctor.
Thanks so much. It's my pleasure.
Okay. Today we have a very wonderful topic that we are going to be treating, and our topic today is anger. We are going to talk about anger and its effect on humans and mankind. So, doctor, when we say anger in the medical field, what does it mean?
I would like to use this medium or this platform to express much gratitude to your cherished viewers. You know, when you talk about anger, anger simply means a feeling of irritation or a feeling of fury, which vary in intensity from mild to severe.
Okay.
Maybe in our local dialect, I would say anger is simply enibre.
Okay.
Sebia anase ebufu.
Okay.
Like ebufu ashebimu. I know if free pensu bi to say enibre and kakra mild form to severe form. That is the definition of anger. And I will simply say that people don't see anger as a health issue because people see anger as part of our lives.
Okay.
Which shouldn't be so. Although anger is part of our lives, once you understand that anger is part of human life, you will know how to deal with your anger when it arises or when it begins. And I will say that almost every case of anger, depending on the type, has got its own complications or has got its own effects, being it on human being and at the same time on the environment.
Okay.
When you say anger in general, we mean that in some situation or some instances, you have anger as a health problem, and it comes along with its own complications. You have anger as a health problem, it comes along with its own complications.
Okay.
There are several forms and types of anger with varying effects on the human system.
Okay.
We have the chronic anger or unprocessed anger.
Okay.
It's a prolonged one, and it has an impact on the immune system of human beings, or it has an impact on the immunity. And we also have another one that is self-inflicted anger. With this self-inflicted anger, it's like a feeling of some kind of how should I put it? It's a feeling of it's an anger that is directed to yourself. You direct that anger towards yourself.
Okay.
And you feel like some sense of feeling of maybe you are not happy or something like that. And you also have judgmental anger. With the judgmental anger, is some kind of directed towards someone.
Okay.
Feeling of unfair treatment or some kind of feeling of resentment.
Okay.
That is the judgmental anger.
Okay.
We also have an overwhelming anger. With this overwhelming anger, that is as a result of life demands.
Okay.
So at times you may demand certain things in life which you yourself, those things are too much for you to cope with.
Okay.
And those ones are classified as overwhelming anger.
Okay.
And sometimes too, anger has got some kind of relationship or relation with the brain.
Okay.
Because once you're able to identify your trigger sources or the source of trigger, maybe I'm sitting here, all of a sudden I get angry. What triggered my anger?
Okay.
Those are the causes of anger. We are sitting here all of a sudden, maybe I just woke up, or maybe I just slapped you. Maybe you might have done something behind the scene which has angered me. Then I will just retaliate, or in retaliation I will do that to you.
Okay.
Some people are able to control or manage their anger. Sometimes in the management of anger, we don't associate anger always with negativity. Sometimes you may have positive aspect of anger. Maybe somebody in an exams hall is supposed to score, let's say, 60 as the pass mark. The person scores, let's say, 59.
Okay.
The teacher beats him or her. I hope you get it.
Yes, please.
He or she got angry.
Sure.
And all of a sudden, next academic year or next examination year, the person had maybe 61. The fact that he had 59 and he was punished for that has angered him positively.
Okay.
In this sense, I would tell you that it has motivated the person
Okay.
to change the certain things about his lifestyle or something that he or she knows.
Okay.
Which has motivated. That is the positive aspect of anger. It motivates us to change. And sometimes you may have the negative aspect of anger. The negative aspect of anger, you see, anger always goes with what you call aggression or hostility. Anger is emotional. I say be a feeling, be aware there. Okay. But when it comes to aggression is the action.
Okay.
You see, I'm sitting here, I got angered, me bofu. I'm sitting there. I hope you get it.
Yes, please.
But I will be aggressive towards something.
Sure.
That is how anger goes with what we call the aggression and hostility.
Okay.
And we have so many types or so many causes of anger. Those are what I term as the trigger points.
Okay.
Sometimes the feeling of being treated unfairly, that falls under judgment source. Maybe I'm not here. Oh, like menya. Sorry to use the tree language. Menya adibi. It's so many. Miniati ya minu macha adi ma mani bi. Adi ensu nyina ye adwuma pe. We all did the same work and executed it perfectly. And then I would no so change me. Why have you gotten greater portion than myself? So I'll be angered. That's one is another cause of anger. That is when you are being treated unfairly. That is another aspect of anger. And also we have frightened, feeling of being frightened or fear. Maybe when you all of a sudden we are sitting here and someone just jumps in with a cane or something in his or her hands. Oh, all of a sudden, a snake just bypasses. I'll be frightened, and also, somebody just put a small toy snake or something beneath or under your chair. You'll be frightened.
Sure.
Maybe you turn your anger or you are going to vent your anger on that particular person who just did that.
Definitely.
And feeling of being frightened is another source. And sometimes you also have stress.
Okay.
Stress in a form of, sometimes you see the work that you do. Maybe we may have situational or familiar situations. The work that you do can also be a source of anger to you.
Okay.
Because I'm sitting here and all of a sudden, I just maybe let me use a life cycle for instance. You wake up in the morning, go to work. Maybe before you or when you went to work or when you got to your workplace, you saw so many things or the work was very tedious in such a way that you couldn't even finish the work and you return home. Already you had in mind that tomorrow when you go to work, you have a backlog of some kind of stuff to perform.
A whole lot.
And your child also approaches you. Maybe because you couldn't finish your work at workplace, maybe you might vent your anger at your child or maybe your wife.
Sure.
That is also another source of what?
Sure.
Anger. That is stress, because stress has brought about all these things. And you also have one of the examples or sources of the trigger point or the triggers. Aside the stress, aside the being treated unfairly, aside the feeling of being threatened, and also other forms of anger, you may also have another one. Maybe feeling of being misinterpreted, misunderstood.
Okay.
I have told you, go and tell this person this or that. You went there and you just misinterpreted everything that I told you to the person, and the person got angry at me. You see, it's also another form of what? Anger. And one thing you have to know is that there is, as I said earlier on, there is some kind of link between anger and the brain.
Okay.
Or the source of the anger or the source of trigger and the brain. For instance, when the source of your anger is from maybe fear, or when the source of your anger is from fear, you see that once the snake is put under your chair, once the snake is put under your chair, maybe you become frightened.
Sure.
Immediately, impulse or signal is sent to the brain.
Okay.
But before it is sent to the brain, it passes through what we call the amygdala. Then it comes to the hypothalamus. The signal is sent to the pituitary gland. And right after the pituitary gland, it stimulates the adrenal gland to release the stress hormones. And when we talk about the stress hormones, we have cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline. And all these things, maybe the source of your anger has released all these hormones. All these hormones also have some kind of negative effect on the well-being of the person. Maybe once cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline are released, some of them are able to cause what we call both digestive problems. Wow. And yes, some of them are. That is the implications of anger. That is why ideally you advise anybody, anybody who is always or chronic, somebody who is always angered. I would term as the chronic anger.
Okay.
To be able to control his or her anger. Because when you have somebody, I hope you get it, when all these processes are involved, the hormones or the neurotransmitters are released.
Okay.
We are talking about the cortisol, the adrenaline, noradrenaline. When they are released, they also have some kind of effect on the blood vessels. Some of them will cause vasoconstriction. Once it causes vasoconstriction, that is the blood vessels becomes constricted. And you may be having your blood pressure will be shooting up.
So, doctor, if I may ask, is it advisable for people who have high blood pressure to manage their anger effectively?
Yes, you have to manage it effectively, because once you are hypertensive and you are always angered, you are somebody who is always angered. Believe me, there is no way your both the diastolic and the systolic will be controlled. So I advise those hypertensive patients to always be able to control their anger, in a sense that once this cortisol and adrenaline and noradrenaline are released into the system, vasoconstriction will occur, and you have increased heart rates, high blood pressure. Those are the effects on the heart.
Wow.
Sometimes you may have, once it is highly constricted, you may have maybe cerebrovascular accident, which is stroke. You may also have diabetes. That is a metabolic problem, because once all these hormones or neurotransmitters are released into the system, you will find out that metabolism decreases. And once metabolism decreases, you are prone to obesity. And even these hormones even decreases the sensitivity of insulin, of the body to insulin. So that's why those people are termed as that's why those people are prone to diabetes.
Okay.
Or you will not be able to control your diabetes well. So anger is something that has to be dealt with, has to be managed. If you are somebody who is always in argument, you see, sometimes hot argument also brings about anger, because argument will never be resolved so far as there is no understanding between the two of you.
Sure.
You are on other side, I'm also on the other side. So maybe in fact, when you get into a heated argument with someone, the best way, if you are somebody who is always angered chronically, the best way to avoid, maybe you identify your source of anger. Hey, my source of anger is argument. So how would I even venture into argument with this man? And then no problem. I day. Abba. Until we will be a butefua. There be no problem.
Okay.
Because the medical boss, sometimes even your eye pressure, that is intraocular pressure, will even increase.
Okay. Your
eye pressure will increase. You may have poor sight, and also in the head too, you have migraine. Those people who are always like always you see those people are they be complaining Because there be obi one before she need to. I hope you get it.
Yes, please.
So that is the relationship between anger and the brain and the health implications. The health implications, like I've mentioned, you have migraine. Uti be pile. What I say, migraine is the severest form of what headache. Maybe depending on there are too many types of headaches. Maybe the migraine is a one-sided headache, which is very severe. You may have cluster headache as well. Tension headache will also erupt. And also, sometimes with the metabolic effect or the digestive effect, you may have slow metabolism. You see, obi adabi anebu ofunu. Adiana no kro be di no entimi yam yi, entimi mbubu yi. Nti wono no ye kese. Once you are becoming fat, you see that all your body's response to other chemicals decreases. Or other, sorry to use that word, maybe your body also responded to no, a bit decreasing.
Okay.
Just like how anger has got some kind of correlation with what you call diabetes.
Okay.
Because diabetes, once your body's responsiveness to insulin decreases, you are likely to get the type 2 diabetes.
Wow.
So that is how it also come into play. And the stroke is as a result of decreased blood to the brain, because there is vasoconstriction due to the release of catecholamines and the neurotransmitters.
Okay.
So you see, when your brain can't cope or when your brain can't respond to serotonin, there is problem in controlling your anger. Nti ube say obi and butefu bia no. Ebufu no timi ma wo nipa no, it may encourage you and it may motivate you positively. Tim show crying. Oh, who are damphobia? When they call baby, wow. What I say? Sadam for I would be wow. Ubuafu, untimin coning champion. And no, in this sense, no, I encourage you positively. If you are DBA or in 1 day, pay into better why day. A free no. See, anger, no. In the management of anger, it's not always about we don't have to limit ourselves to maybe pharmacotherapy or pharmacological drugs. Sometimes a lot of psychotherapy also play major role. Counseling also play major role, and also what we call it, exercising. Sometimes learning relaxation. With the one you can do what you call yoga. You can do yoga.
Okay.
Yoga is also another form of relaxation, and also we can also do self-meditation. So in anger management, say uye ubi a ubutefu, and I say uye ubi a uma ubufua. It has a whole lot of health implications. Maybe you can also harm somebody. Ubuafu, sure. You can vent your anger at an innocent person, or it can also harm you and cause accident. So basically, anger is something that we shouldn't entertain. You have to identify the source of your anger. Sometimes, if you identify the source of your anger, what will you do? You run away from it.
Sure.
I hope you get what I'm saying. If you always get involved in unnecessary argument with someone, and that triggers your anger, you have to avoid those kind of. You see, especially when you go to those game centers and football centers, viewing centers, you see that heated argument over there.
Yeah.
You go there, people fight a lot. So if you are somebody who is always angered chronically or chronic anger, you are somebody, you have to identify that, oh, this is my weakness. I have to avoid or run away from that. Okay. Aside that, those are the counseling that you give to those people who are having who are always angered. Aside the medication, you have the pharmacotherapy. That's the medication aspect. Okay. You also have the counseling, exercising, and regular exercising, and also other form of psychotherapy. Maybe the person might need some assistance. I hope you get it.
Yes, please.
So in our part of the world, that is what we have to do in alleviating anger and also controlling ourselves.
Wow, this is a very wonderful talk, and I'm reminding you that you are watching us live on DTL World TV on YouTube, and we are bringing our talk to an end. And Dr. Addai has made us know that Anger has so many negative effects on us as human beings. Likewise, it has some positive effect on us. So I would want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at DTL World TV and like our Facebook page, DTL, and your life will never be the same. Doctor, as we are moving, what advice have you got for people watching us?
Basically, what I will tell people is, whenever you are angered, you should be able to manage it. Manage your anger. Sometimes some people are unable to manage their anger, and maybe we have something we call anger repression. Instead of exposing the anger, they keep it inside with them, and they basically eventually they will vent their anger at innocent people. So you have to manage your anger. You shouldn't keep it inside. Although anger explosion, or once you vent out your anger, it might lead to depression and anxiety, but it's better for you to manage it rather than repress it. So whenever you are angered, it's better for you, or the best way for you to do is to just manage it. Try to identify your anger, the source of your anger, or those triggers, and desist from those things. And once you do that, okay, if you are somebody who is continuously angered, you can seek an advice or health advice from expert or professional advice, and that will be the best for you.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Okay. We are really blessed to have you on this show. So this is DTL World TV, and as you are watching us, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel. And in case if you have anything to any question to ask, you can WhatsApp us on 0242467992, and then you can also channel your questions to Facebook at DTL World, and your life will never be the same.
DTL World TV, your life is your message.